Hello dear students, in this session let's start with the consequence of Hahn-Banach theorem. We have already seen the Hahn-Banach theorem in the previous sessions. So now using this Hahn-Banach theorem, let's prove some of the theorems. Okay. The next theorem states that the statement goes like this: if n is a normed linear space and x0 be some non-zero vector which belongs to the space n, and we have to prove that then there exists a functional f0 in n star. So we have already seen what is n star. N star is nothing but conjugated space of your n, right? Such that f0 of x0 is equal to norm x0 and norm f0 is equal to 1. This is what we supposed to prove. So first, in order to prove f0 is a functional, let's prove that it preserves vector addition and scalar multiplication. Before that, I will consider the given data. We have n is a normed linear space. Obviously it will be over a field, and here the field may be real or complex, right? I can consider field as a real linear space or a complex. The scalars are coming from real or your complex plane, right? So now I will define subspace of n, say m, and this will be in the form of alpha x0 such that x0 belongs to n and alpha belongs to k. Since this theorem is called as consequence of Hahn-Banach theorem, in order to use the Hahn-Banach theorem, we are defining a subspace M, and it will be in this form where the arbitrary vector x0 is coming from n and alpha belongs to k. Okay. So now if I am defining this, means obviously the mapping will be from the space M to a field k, and we can define this by f of x is equal to f of alpha x0. I have to define in this form, right? So f of alpha x0 will be equal to alpha into norm x0. Using this definition, we are defining our function in this way. Is that clear? So now we have to prove that f is linear. That means there are two conditions. One is vector addition, another one is scalar multiplication. Let's prove these two properties now. So first I will consider two vectors in space M, and x is nothing but alpha x0 and y is nothing but beta x0. Since my vectors are coming from M, I have to define the vectors x and y in this form only. For that purpose, I have taken x as alpha x0 and y as beta x0. So now how you will prove your vector addition property? F of x plus y, and I have to prove this LHS part is equal to f of x plus f of y, isn't it? So f of what is x? X is alpha x0 and y is beta x0. We can rewrite this as f of alpha plus beta into x0, and we know that alpha and beta are scalars, so I can write this as alpha plus beta into f of x0, or we can write this as, from here either you can write this step, or using this definition you can directly write that alpha plus beta into norm x0, then this will be alpha norm x0 plus beta norm x0. So now what is alpha norm x0? This is nothing but f of alpha x0 plus this is nothing but f of beta x0. So again, what is alpha x0? It is x, and beta x0 it is y. So we can rewrite this as f of x plus f of y. So f of x plus y is equal to f of x plus f of y. From this I can say that f preserves vector addition. Similarly, let's prove for scalar multiplication. For that I will choose a scalar quantity as lambda. F of lambda x, we can write f of lambda x as f of lambda into alpha x naught. So this will be equal to f of lambda alpha, both are scalars, into x naught. So I can rewrite this as lambda into f of alpha x naught. So this will be equal to lambda into f of x. So f of lambda x is equal to lambda into f of x. From this we can say that f preserves scalar multiplication. So from these two conditions you can conclude that f is a functional, right? Again we need to, according to the theorem statement, we need to prove two things. One is f naught of x naught is equal to norm x naught and norm f naught is equal to 1. These two conditions I have to prove now. So now using Hahn-Banach theorem, we know that f is functional on M, right? That means there is a extension. F naught is, I can consider one function and that is extended functional on M. I can say that I will consider f naught and it is a mapping from n to r or c, okay, or I can say that this f naught belongs to n star. So here they have given that, right? F naught in n star is a conjugated space of n. So using that we can write this mapping f naught from n to r or c, that is nothing but f naught belongs to n star. So this means f naught is extended functional on M, right? So from the consequence of Hahn-Banach theorem, we can write norm f naught is equal to norm f. Make a small correction, even in your notes make this correction. In order to say f is functional along with linear property, I have to prove that f is continuous also, right? So in your notes I have sent the notes in a reverse way. This page should come first, then this. Just check it properly. So till here f preserves scalar multiplication, right? From this you can say that f is linear. Now let's prove that f is continuous. In order to prove f is continuous, I have to consider a sequence yn. I will call that sequence as yn. If yn converges to y in M, we have to prove that sequence f of yn converges to f of y, right? This is how we will prove the continuity property. So now I will define yn as alpha n x naught and y as alpha x naught. So if yn tends to y as n tends to infinity, from this we can write norm yn minus y tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. So now substitute the value of yn and y here. So you will be getting norm alpha n x naught minus alpha x naught tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. Here you can take x naught as common, so it will be alpha n minus alpha into x naught tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. Since alphas are my scalar, I can write this as mod alpha n minus alpha into norm x naught tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. So alpha n converges to alpha as n tends to infinity. From this we can say that alpha n norm x naught converges to alpha norm x naught as n tends to infinity. So now what is alpha n norm x naught? This is nothing but f of alpha n x naught, and this converges to f of alpha x as n tends to infinity. So again substitute back the values of alpha n x naught and alpha x. So you will be getting f of yn converges to f of y as n tends to infinity, or you can write that sequence f of yn converges to f of y as n tends to infinity. From this we can conclude that f is continuous. So since f is linear and continuous, this implies f is functional on M. Alright. Next we have to prove that norm f is equal to 1. Norm f naught is equal to 1, right? For that again let's define our norm f first. So norm f will be equal to supremum of x belongs to M mod f of x such that norm x is less than or equal to 1. We have seen this. This is how we define our norm f, right? Again substitute the values. So this will be equal to supremum of x belongs to M. This is not x here, and this we have defined our space M in the form of alpha x naught. So this will be f of alpha x naught such that norm alpha x naught is less than or equal to 1. Since alpha is scalar, we know that f of alpha x naught is nothing but mod alpha into norm x naught such that norm alpha x naught is less than or equal to 1, right? So if alpha is equal to 1, we can write this as, if alpha is equal to 1, your norm f will be equal to 1. This is when alpha is equal to 1, right? So now use your Hahn-Banach theorem. So from Hahn-Banach theorem, and in the statement they have given that f naught belongs to n star, we can define a mapping f naught from n to r or c such that our f naught is extended functional on M. And we know that from that data norm f naught is equal to norm f. We have already proved that norm f is equal to 1. So that implies norm f naught is equal to norm f is equal to 1. So I can directly write that norm f naught is equal to 1. Now from the statement this point is clear now. I have to prove f naught of x naught is equal to norm x naught, right? If x naught belongs to M, okay, we are taking one arbitrary point and we are considering that that point belongs to M. I can write f naught of x naught is equal to f of x naught, and that is equal to norm x naught. Why? Because we have taken the condition as alpha is equal to 1. So this implies f naught of x naught is equal to norm x naught. Since alpha is scalar, you can consider alpha as 1 and you can prove this part very easily. You need not to consider the other side of the alpha values. So this is how you will prove this theorem using Hahn-Banach theorem. Okay. So now let's move to next theorem. Next theorem is n star separates vector in n. This is what we have to prove. What is the meaning of this? That is n star separates vectors in n. That means if I choose two vectors in space n and if two vectors are not equal such there exists a functional and that functional belongs to n star. N star is nothing but conjugate space of n such that f of x is not equal to f of y. If this is the case and if f belongs to n star, then I can say that n star separates vector in n. Okay. So we can prove this theorem as, since we know that n is a normed linear space, right? It is normed linear space. We are choosing two vectors in n and those two vectors are distinct vectors. So if x is not equal to y means we can write x minus y is not equal to 0. There exists a functional f belongs to n star such that I can consider f of x minus y is equal to norm x minus y and this is not equal to 0. So since they have given f belongs to n star, this means f is functional, right? F is functional means it holds two properties, one is linearity and another one is continuity. So I can write this as f of x minus f of y and this is not equal to 0. Obviously this implies you that f of x is not equal to f of y. We have I have just written this norm x minus y since we know that this is already a normed linear space. You need not to write this. You can just write f of x minus y is not equal to 0 and since f is functional, I can write f of x minus f of y is not equal to 0 and from that you can conclude that f of x is not equal to f of y. The next theorem is if M is a closed subspace of a normed linear space and x0 be some arbitrary vector which belongs to n with x0 does not belongs to m, then there exists f0 belongs to n star such that f0 of m is equal to 0 and f0 of x0 is not equal to 0. This is the statement they have given. So let's make a note of given thing. M is closed subspace of normed linear space and x0 belongs to n with x0 does not belongs to m, then there exists functional f0 that belongs to conjugate space n star such that f0 of m is equal to 0 and f0 of x0 is not equal to 0. This is what the given thing, right? What all the things we have to prove here? First, we have to prove that we have to prove these two things and from the given data we can make some of the conclusions. So let's check those conclusions first. Okay, we can consider n as a normed linear space and M is closed subspace, right? So we have normed linear space and closed subspace. From this we can say that there exists a quotient space n by m, right? Now we can define a mapping T from n to n by m. So since it is a quotient space, the function can be defined in the form of T of x is equal to x plus m for all your x is coming from the normed linear space n and it is linear and continuous, right? Now if x belongs to m and also we know that this mapping is linear and continuous, along with that we know one more point. What is that? Norm x will be less than or equal to 1, right? So if x belongs to m, this implies x plus m is equal to m. So from this we can write T of x is equal to x plus m and this x plus m will be equal to m. What is m? M is 0 element in 0 of your n by m quotient space. So now what if x naught does not belongs to m? If x naught does not belongs to m, then x naught plus m will not be equal to m, right? So from this, t of x naught is equal to x naught plus m, and this x naught plus m will not belongs to m, right? From this we can say that, but this x naught plus m belongs to n by m, right? So from this we can say that n by m is normed linear space, and t of x naught is equal to x naught plus m belongs to n by m, where x naught plus m is not equal to 0. Here we are not saying the word n by m as a quotient space, that's why I have written this is not equal to 0. Okay. Yes, it is a quotient space, but what happens is we are using this as a given data, and we are saying that there exists a space which will be in this form. But we know that n by m is a quotient space. If it is equal to m, then I can say that m is a 0 element for space n by m, or you can say that it is a 0 element of n quotient space n by m. Okay. So basically it is a normed linear space. If you just go in particular about this, then you will say that n by m as a quotient space. Now here they have given that f naught belongs to n star. So now our n star can be n by m now, right? It is a conjugated space. So here n by m act as a conjugate space of your n. So we can write that f belongs to n by m whole star, such that f of t of x naught will be equal to f of x naught plus m, and this is nothing but norm x naught plus m, and norm f is equal to 1, right? So now the mapping is actually t from n to n by m, and we can consider one more mapping for our conjugate space, that is f from n by m to field or r or c, and we know that this two are functionals, right? So we can write f naught is functional, and I can define, okay, f naught is functional on n, and I can define f naught as f composition t from normed linear space n to r or c. We have two mappings, and using two mappings we are defining its composition as f naught, and the mapping will be from n to r or c. Okay. So now f naught belongs to conjugate space n for all x belongs to m, right? So f naught of x will be f composition t of x. This is nothing but f of t of x. So f of t of x, you can observe here, t is a mapping from n to n by m. So we can define t of x as x plus m. Now what is f of x plus m? F of x plus m is nothing but norm x plus m. So this will be equal to norm x plus m, and norm x plus m is equal to m. This is 0 of space n by m, right? Or I can write in another way, that is f naught of x is equal to 0 of n by m for all your x belongs to m. Since x belongs to the space m, I can write f naught of m is equal to 0. So now we have to consider one more case, that is x0 does not belongs to M, right? So let's see what happens if I consider x0 does not belongs to M. Since x0 does not belongs to M, we know that x0 plus M is not equal to M. So f0 of x0 can be written as f composition T of x0. This is f of T of x0. And what is T of x0? It is f of x0 plus M. What is f of x0 plus M? This is norm x0 plus M. And this is not equal to M, that is 0 of the space n by M. From this you can say that f0 of x0 is not equal to 0. So if you observe the statement of the theorem, if M is a closed subspace of norm linear space and x0 belongs to N with x0 does not belongs to M, then there exists f0 belongs to the conjugate space n star. So the conjugate space here is n by M. We have shown that f0 belongs to the conjugate space n by M star, such that using these 2 points we have proved that f0 of M is equal to 0 and f0 of x0 is not equal to 0. Okay, is that clear? This is how we prove this theorem. So again, if you observe carefully, in order to say that f belongs to n by M, here we have used the Hahn-Banach theorem, that is the consequence of Hahn-Banach theorem. Consequence of Hahn-Banach theorem is nothing but the first theorem I have proved in this session. You can see the statement, if n is a non-linear space and x0 is some non-zero vector in n, then there exists f0 in n star. So here we have that point in the statement, that is if x0 belongs to N and we have a space, there the space was N, here the space is N by M. So there exists a functional which belongs to N by M star. Okay, is that clear? So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. We'll continue in the next session. Thank you.